What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a little while ago, I put together a video discussing something that I thought was one of the biggest problems within XDefiant. And I'm not talking about, the netcode or the hit reg, the stuff that you usually hear from the community. No, I'm talking about down to the gameplay designs. This one thing really pushed me in the wrong way, and a lot of the community came and said, "Oh, you're losing your mind, JB. This isn't a big problem." But I really swore, that this was going to be an issue that is going to leak into this game, especially as the community settles into it. As a new game, it wasn't going to be an issue, but as the community gets, months in, up to a year in, I personally thought it was going to get worse and worse and worse. And as expected, yes, indeed, it is getting worse and worse and worse. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have to go ahead, sit back, discuss this, and I'm going to obviously give some constructive criticism, things that I think could be positively changed to kind of balance everything out here. But as always, if you guys do enjoy what you hear in today's video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And if you guys want to check out any of my live streams, I will be live today over on Twitch between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You guys can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, let me get right into it. I am talking about the Phantoms, or basically any faction that gives you a health advantage as a passive ability. A lot of people said, it's crazy, it's not that big of a deal, and everybody always says to go ahead and, use DeadSec and hack their berries and stuff like that, and I completely agree. Nothing makes me happier than seeing a bunch of, lower leveled players stacking up Phantoms, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm running EMPs and I'm running DeadSec, I'm gonna be tearing these dudes up, right? I always do that personally. But when it comes to a higher bracket of players, when the game gets sweatier, when it's out for a longer amount of time, a year down the road, and everybody's pretty established into this game, and you don't see noobs running around with Phantoms or low-level players running around Phantoms, people are going to slowly yet surely see the real advantages of what this faction is all about. I mean, you can see right here in this Reddit post by Brazenology, ranked is just 4v4 Phantoms, getting old real quick. It has become quite clear that Phantoms are the best faction in the game, and you're at a disadvantage in ranked if you aren't running them because plus 20 HP and mag barrier is OP. Again, mag barrier, I always feel mixed about the mag barrier because I don't think it's OP. It's a very useful tool. I mean, having a one-way barrier that can give you permanent cover basically for a certain amount of time that also your team can use, and as long as they're not running a bunch of DeadSecs and stuff like that to be able to hack it all the time, it's really dang useful. You can get a lot of bodies with that thing. But again, it doesn't come down to the mag barrier because they can be EMP'd, they can be hacked. High skill players aren't using it because of that exact reason. High skill players are using it because of the plus 20 HP. Having extra health benefits you way more than literally anything else in this game. Especially in a game where, again, we're all complaining about netcode, right? We can't deny the fact that, yeah, the netcode is still pretty gunky. You want the additional health. It helps you survive a lot more gunfights, survive around corners way more frequently. And in a competitive environment where you have a lot of people stacking and trying to trade kills, running with one another, having multiple Phantoms who can time out their barriers around EMP grenades and know how to maneuver with them and communicate with them, and then stacking their additional 20 HP on top of each other, it becomes a nightmare. Again, just like that post said, if you are playing competitive 4v4, you will be forced into using Phantoms as well. Because going up against a really skilled, good 4-stack of Phantoms, doesn't matter what ability you have. The fire rounds, pointless. It's not going to beat 4 people with additional 20 HP, of course, if they can shoot. If they're noobs, then it's not a problem. And that's where I feel like a lot of people, don't think it's overpowered because they're playing casual pubs and they're seeing low-level players rocking Phantoms. Like, oh, this is pointless. No, you have to verse really skilled individuals, right? Again, fire rounds, pointless. Extra health, you get the health box on the ground and you're trying to heal yourself up. Again, pointless. You have 2-3 Phantoms push you. They're just going to take you down and destroy your box, right? DeadSec, again, yeah, you could hack the barriers. You could throw out a spider bot or something of that sort. But one spider bot and then you have 3 other Phantoms push you, pointless. And the hacking ability, that doesn't take away 20 HP whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Echelon, yeah, you could wall hack them or try to be invisible. But again, that doesn't counter 20 HP. There's no counter to a extra health buff besides the fire rounds. And even the fire rounds aren't that efficient against it. It's just, it's something that is really annoying in my personal opinion. And like I said, it doesn't just sit in competitive. This will leak over to pub matches as well, especially when more competitive players use it, including myself, like I always say. And you can see another post here from Saber AK8 that said Phantom passive needs to go. There, I said it. I play Phantom only, by the way. And that's one thing that I don't think anybody understands. Everybody who says, oh, you just want them nerfed because, you know, you can't counter them. You don't know how to go up against them. No, that's not the case. I can handle a Phantom player. I mean, shoot, all you got to do is just pull out an LMG and pull out Phantom as well, and you can easily compete. You know what I'm saying? Get the extra damage, give yourself extra health. You're good to go. I'm complaining about it because I use it, and it's toxic. This is coming from a pub stomping mindset. It is insane to have an additional 20 HP given to an experienced player. That's it. That's literally it. I do not rock Phantom. The only reason I've been rocking Phantom is because I like for all my time to be equal on my combat record. I try to have all the factions equaled out. But the Phantoms were literally my last faction I grinded out while I was still doing all my other factions to get time up because of the fact that it feels so freaking cheesy. There's not a single other game that I could think of that gives players a health buff with absolutely no downside. I cannot think of one. Rainbow Six Siege, you know, you play as a beefy character. Not only do you run slow, but you can still get one shot right to the head. Irrelevant. You know, the time to kill is literally irrelevant because you can still get one tapped right away. A game like Overwatch, if you play as a tank with extra health, you are going to be slower, which means you have to be smart with how you position yourself and, you know, how you go about engaging with enemies because you can't just dart in and dart out with additional HP, right? You have extra HP, but you have to be smart about it. XDefiant, there really isn't any counter. You have an extra HP, and then what? I still move at the same speed. I can do all the strafe maneuvers that other people do and the B-hop maneuvers. You know, I literally have zero downsides to being a more tanky player. And this goes for GSK as well. Now, they're not as bad as the Phantom's 20 HP. But let's be realistic here. Again, in a casual environment, it's not bad right now. Because you have a lot of new players running around with these factions. But as it gets more competitive and more competitive and more competitive, there's going to be really good players who will rock this faction because it does give you that additional boost in a gunfight. They're not getting extra damage on your head. You have a helmet on. So if you're versing an experienced player who can hit headshots, they are going to literally outfrag you every single time. I'm just not a fan of health differences and fast-paced arcade shooters like this. But of course, as promised, you know, I'm going to list out a few things here that I think could improve these changes and make it less toxic for the overall community, especially in the future. I mean, first and foremost, stacking characters is getting wild. And for example, I got gameplay right here for you guys that we did on stream of where we're all rocking Echelon, you know, wall hacks as a full, you know, 6-stack. Insane. And I know people said that this would take out the casual nature of pubs. But I still think being able to stack this many operators is a problem. And again, transfer this over to Phantoms. Having 6 really skilled Phantoms, all with 20 additional HP, that is very, very game-changing. If they were to just limit, you know, a couple factions per team, I think that would improve the overall gameplay, even with an additional 20 HP. If you're playing ranked 4v4 and you could only have 1 Phantom instead of 4, I think that would really drastically change how people view it. But again, even with that, I still think the passives are a bit extra, and a tanky player should have some negatives. So I think they should just strip it. Strip the 20 HP, completely remove it, and in return, give them, you know, blast shield, blast protection, make them be able to avoid grenades or flashes, make them more OBJ-based, make them want to hop on the objective because they know for a fact they can take more crap that's thrown at them, you know? Because right now, the counter for a Phantom yeah, like I said, you can EMP and all that stuff, but that's literally it. Like I said, the 120 HP is their main priority. So every time I see a Phantom, I know it's like, you know, I'm not thinking of, oh, I needed to pull out DedSec right now. No, I'm thinking, oh, I need to pull out, you know, an AK or an LMG because I have to find a way to chunk out that extra health to make it a more fair gunfight because they don't have to put as many bullets into me. That's the main problem right now. So I think removing the 20 HP would then give it a fair advantage across the board. Then DedSec would be the hard counter to Phantom and not having to change your weapon, right? DedSec would 1010% be the hard counter. And then, like I said, they have blast protection. That could be their passive. They can survive a bit more grenades and stuff like that. Yeah, GSK wouldn't be that useful towards them, but it doesn't have to be that extreme. Maybe they can survive a couple of grenades instead of, surviving one grenade, right? Like, I don't know. Just give them a little extra oomph to make it feel like they can still push up and be aggressive on an OBJ, because yeah, that is what the additional 20 HP did. It made me feel like I'm powerful, like I can, hop up on an OBJ and take as many bullets as I can possibly take and, do my business. But, if they're not going to slow this man down and give him that negative, then I don't know how else to handle it besides taking away the 20 HP and, making them protected by grenades. And the third solution is, again, if they really want to keep the 120 HP, slow them down. Make them an actual tank. If you want them to have that health, they should think about where they're positioning themselves. Right now, as a Phantom, I can play just as fast as anybody else in this game. I don't have to think about where I'm positioning myself. If I get shot, I can move at the speed of light and get out of that engagement with an additional 20 HP. That's insane. I should be slowed down to make me think about where I should place myself on the OBJ, knowing that if I do get a lot of engagement, I can't run. I can't get out of there in a split second, So I have to make sure that I am comfortable enough where I'm at to get a lot done for my team and be able to capture as much OBJ as I possibly can. That is one way that I would gladly hop back on Phantoms, and it will feel way less cheesy. I would gladly accept that and 120 HP, because then I wouldn't feel like I'm just a completely overpowered unit. But if that's not in, and if they don't decide to remove it and give them blast shield, and if they don't decide to, go ahead and cap off the, the amount of factions you have per team, this is just going to be an ongoing issue in my personal opinion, and it might hurt a lot of the variety within this, game's future. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, go down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. But as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And of course, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I'll be live today over on Twitch between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You guys can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.